Hey, listen up. I just uncovered a secret about your next relationship, and it's going to shock everyone you know. This isn't just about finding love. It's about a complete game changer that nobody saw coming. But here's the catch. If you skip this, you'll miss the biggest blessing of your life. Don't scroll past this. Welcome on board, person you chose. Stop acting like we're not here. Let's not make it softer. We shouldn't lie to make people with weak egos feel better. They said you weren't very interesting. They said you were too quiet, too intense, too much, or not enough. It looked like they were already done with the story when they said, "Look at them now." They said you were at your best early. People told you that you missed your chance. They told me, the legend needs to bow. It's funny, because they said that before the universe finished writing your next chapter. Take a look at where you are. Not happy, not begging, not chasing, just standing there quiet, hard to read, and dangerous in a quiet way. Watch them as they watch and whisper, becoming suddenly careful with what they say and polite in private. That change didn't happen by accident, even if they still talk badly in public. That quiet after the storm isn't peace, it's shock. This is a cold truth they don't want to face. The first people to notice something was different were the ones who laughed the loudest. People who didn't think much of you felt it before you did. Recently, when people said your name, it didn't sound the same. They are less amused and more scared, because they can feel what's going to happen, even if they don't know what it is, and what's coming isn't small. The person who still sees you through an old lens will not understand your next relationship. That's why everyone will be shocked, not because of chaos or drama, but because of the difference. They will feel bad about the difference between who they thought you were and who you walk next to. Everything I have covered across this channel is now in one place. The prayers, the teachings, the daily blessings, it is all inside the Daily Miracle Manual. Link in the description. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community, through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site, you are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Haven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. Press like and subscribe before we go any further, but not for the algorithm. Pay for it. People get paid to tell the truth. You know what it's like to feel like you weren't seen, so don't say out loud, "You're part of this mission now." Back to it. where you gave more than you got, and where you tried to explain yourself to people who were determined to get it wrong. You saw other people get picked more quickly, loved more loudly, and celebrated more quickly. Even though you smiled, you were really asking the question that no one could hear. What's wrong with me? There was nothing wrong with you. That's the part that no one told you about. The universe wasn't holding you up. It was making you better. You learned something from every turn down, every quiet exit, and every relationship that ended without a resolution. Good judgment. Not noise, but depth was what you were being taught. Not chemistry, but truth. This is not chaos dressed up as passion, it's stability. This is why the next relationship you have will not seem real. You're not going to chase it. You're not going to force it. You're not going to say it early. It will become such a normal part of your life that one day you'll notice that the world is calmer and clearer. It will be priceless when people finally figure out who you're with. Oh, that's the person they chose. When did they start moving that way? When did this take place? It happened while they were playing back an old version of you that doesn't exist anymore. I have something to tell you. People don't like admitting. People form the strongest bonds after they've been hurt enough to stop performing. You're no longer begging your way into love. You are coming in as someone who knows how much peace costs. That changes everything. The next person you meet won't love you for what you could be. They'll know when the job is done. They're not going to test you. They're not going to play power games. You'll feel like you know them, but not because you did, but because they use the same emotional language you had to learn on your own. The enemy will feel it too. The ones who ghosted, the ones who chose someone else, the ones who thought you'd always be available. They will know when your energy is no longer there for them. When people don't question your silence and your happiness seems private and safe, that's when regret shows up. Quiet, late, and not useful. That's not vengeance. This is the result. You have nothing to prove right now. You're here to change how you live. That's why this relationship hurts more than any fight ever could. It ends chapters without saying why. It gives you answers without words. It does not tell, but shows. Someone will say that they changed after that in years to come. They'll be right. They won't understand why. The world didn't send you this far to give you something normal. What comes next is as strong as the strength you built up in silence. And when it comes, you'll understand why everything else had to fall apart once you see who it is and how well it fits. Don't move. Allow it to come. It's built with the shock in mind. Picked. Not everyone should read this part. This is where the noise stops. And only those who can sense what's going to happen stay locked in. I'm going to break down your next relationship in a way that makes it look weird. For people who still see you as the person you used to be, it won't feel right and won't make sense. You're not here to find love. This is about timing, alignment, and the universe setting up something so strange that it changes what people thought they knew about you. You're still here, which means you know this isn't a coincidence. You weren't supposed to be here. The past had to get rid of things in a certain way. There is a reason why silence, distance, and being alone shaped you before you made a connection. When someone new comes into your life, they won't meet the old you. They'll meet the version that made it through the quiet and came back stronger. The complete guide, every daily prayer, every spiritual tool, everything I've put together to help you grow your faith is down in the description. It's called the Daily Miracle Manual. Now, stay right here with me because as this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history, it is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. So, mark it if you're ready to see how this goes. Leave 777 the comment as a sign that you're staying until the end because you feel pulled, not as a habit or a trend. You know that this next relationship isn't just a surprise. It makes sense. Now pay attention. Let's take this one step at a time. Once you see it, you won't be able to take it away. First, the reflection that showed them and woke you up for good. You were not lost. They couldn't get in. Read it slowly again. It should sting where it needs to. These are the parts of the story where the enemy starts to sweat because the link you're making isn't soft, cute, or random. It's a mirror they've always tried to avoid. This is the mean joke. You didn't try to find it. You didn't ask for it. You didn't try too hard. It showed up anyway, right on time, holding up a mirror with such a clear view that it cuts through all the lies they told about you. People said it was hard to love you. They said what you asked for was too much. They told you that your standards were too high. They really meant that you make us feel bad because you see things too clearly. To feel safe, most people choose relationships that aren't very deep. Texts, characters, and endings that you can guess. There was no need to grow or tell the truth. There was only comfort disguised as connection. That's where your enemies stayed. That's why they never changed. That's why they could never keep up with you. The low hum inside you, on the other hand, kept telling you that this wasn't it and couldn't be it. You tried to forget about it. You tried to make peace. Being numb was something that happened to everyone. There are some people, though, who can't stay asleep. It keeps turning up the volume until it's too loud to stand. This is the part that no one told you about. The right connection does more than just make you look good. Your fears, habits, and blind spots are all shown by it. You see the version of yourself you've been putting off. And people who want to stay small are scared of that. That's why they ran. So they made fun of them. That's why they said you were too intense. Someone is only a problem when they don't have any depth. Let's tell it like it is. The enemy did not get you wrong. They really got what you meant. That's why they tried to make you smaller. When someone is standing next to you and sees their own emptiness in you, the easiest way to defend yourself is to say nothing. Look, someone thinks they're cool. The myth needs to bow down. That was not confidence, it was sarcasm. It was chaos. Take a look at the shift now. Your next relationship won't be like the ones you've had before. It makes it clear. You stopped asking questions out loud because of it. Why did things feel unfair all the time? How come you grew up so quickly? What made love feel like work instead of growth? The answer is easy and cruel. You were always ahead of everyone else. That's why the connection that's coming your way will surprise everyone. It's equal, not because it's flashy. Because your growth won't put the person who comes into your life in danger. They won't be able to beat you. They won't need you to be small to make them feel tall. They'll know about the fire and bring their own. Yes, that does scare the enemy, because they have to face the truth now. They didn't turn you down. They did not pass the test. They were never meant to go where you're going. They thought that access meant ownership, and that comfort meant compatibility. They turned away when the mirror finally showed up. You didn't. That's the difference. You asked yourself the things that other people don't want to. In what ways do I repeat myself? Why do the same lessons keep coming to me? What do I still need to hide? That face-to-face with yourself is rare, painful, and necessary. That's why the universe put more trust in you. I'll answer the question that's been weighing on your mind. Why did it take so long? Because quick, shallow love comes along. Pressure, time, and being alone are needed for real alignment. For the right person to see you clearly, you had to get rid of everything that was getting in the way. This connection isn't meant to make you whole. It's here to meet you, to test you, and to wake up parts of you that were dormant, because no one had ever reached that level before. That's why it already feels very strong. You can feel it, even if it hasn't fully arrived yet. The change, the excitement, and the calm confidence that took the place of the old hunger. For the enemy, this is the last blow in the gut. They'll know something has changed before you say anything. The moment your energy stops leaking, they will feel it. When you don't look back or ask for approval. When your silence doesn't ask to be heard. They'll see you in someone else's eyes and forget who they were standing next to. You're not here to correct them. That was already done by life. You're here because you want to build your next relationship on honesty, not performance. Depth, not ease of use. Not potential, but presence. The shock won't be loud once it's locked in. It'll be quiet. The kind of quiet that makes people think twice about the jokes they told about you. This mirror wasn't sent to make you look better. It came to kill you. Second, the effects that they never get over. They thought you would stay the same. That was the last mistake they made. This is where the shockwave really hits. It's not loud or crazy, but it's just clear. There's been a shift that makes rooms feel smaller when you walk in, and silence when your name is called. Your next partner is not a surprise because of how they look on paper. It's a surprise because it changes you the moment it comes into your life. That's the part that the enemy never makes it through that part. You're not going into a place you know. You're about to do something that cuts the old story in half. This person is not like your past. They don't bring up old wounds just to make you laugh. They don't like it when you lie to yourself or try to please other people. They meet you where you are now, not where you were bleeding. That alone makes everything different. Here's the truth that makes you feel bad. Most of your old connections are still alive because they took advantage of your confusion, your lack of boundaries, and the fact that you often tried to explain yourself to people who weren't trying to understand. That game won't be played by this one. They're not going to slip around your rules. That's why they'll respect them, test them, and make them stronger, not to control you, but to push you forward. That's why it feels very strong. This is why it feels strange at first. It's never easy to grow. Anything that wakes you up first shakes the cage. It makes you feel weak because you're not weak. Sin. There's a change. It's something that most people never learn. Now, let's talk about the bad guy. The people who saw you fight. The people who thought your softness meant you were weak. They thought you'd always be available, easy to reach, and a little behind them. That illusion is broken now that you don't react the same way. You do not look for clarity. You don't try to sell yourself short. You don't go into too much detail about your silence. They'll say you changed. People will say you're cold. They'll say you're acting strangely. Okay, the point is to be different. Being with this person doesn't just make your life better. It gets rid of things that didn't belong there. Old habits, old ways of reacting, and old emotional loops. That question that held you back is no longer being asked. Stop playing conversations over and over. Stop telling less truth to keep the peace. That's the wave of shock. It will be quiet, last forever, and be terrible for anyone who trusted the old you. Yes, it does scare you at first. Yes, of course it does. When something real comes up, it makes your patterns less safe. You're used to just getting by, not being fully seen. When you carry depth alone, you're used to it. It doesn't feel romantic at first when someone finally meets you there. It feels like there is no place to hide, no pressure, and no pressure. That tells you it's not the same. This link doesn't take your attention away from yourself. It makes you look at yourself. It shows how disciplined, limited, and hungry you are for more. It doesn't help you out. It forces you to be the person you've already become behind closed doors. That's why everything waited. That's why the time had to be just right. People don't like hearing this fact. At first, the strongest relationships don't feel exciting. They make sense, ground you, and feel almost too real. The chase is over because there is no doubt. There is no show because no one is there to see it. It's just alignment snapping into place like it always there. That's what makes people shocked. They were ready for chaos and fireworks. They thought you would do the same thing again. Instead, they see peace, quiet, and confidence. They see that you chose someone without telling them why, asking for permission, or making a big deal out of it. They are crazy about that silence because they can feel it. No matter what this is, it won't last. You will also notice it. You don't worry about whether you're asking for too much because the right person never makes you feel that way. They make your body calm, your words sound better, and your standards feel firm instead of defensive. Either they get to the level, or they're not in the room. This is where the enemy has no power left. They can't make you feel bad. They can't make you angry. That old stuff won't work to trick you. The ground has moved. The shock wave has passed, and they are now standing on a version of reality that doesn't have you in it. I'll tell you what you're thinking. What makes this feel like the end of something? This is not the end of a story. It is the end of an evolutionary process. The part where you learn from pain is coming to an end. The chapter where you make choices based on clarity is now open. This relationship isn't going to save you. It's here because you no longer need to save. That's why everyone is shocked. That's why it shuts down people who doubt. That's why it goes after the enemy where excuses live. They didn't think you'd get so strong. They didn't think the universe would back you up so quickly. They did not expect you to stop trying to stay alive and start picking people. There's nothing else to say. The shockwave already spoke for itself. Third, when the old you falls apart and all of its lies fall with it. Their biggest mistake was thinking they'd still be able to recognize you. That line marks the end of this phase. Take a seat with it. They start to doubt everything they thought they knew about you at this very moment. Not in a dramatic way, and not with quiet, planned announcements. You're not going to explode into the past. It runs out, and that scares people who trusted their ability to guess who you are. It hits you first, long before anyone else. A strange restlessness, not wanting to say the same thing over and over, and not being able to handle habits that used to feel normal. You start to doubt things you used to defend. Why did I agree with that? Why did I explain myself? Why did I not say anything when I knew I should have? There are no doubts here. I call them withdrawals. You're getting rid of an identity that made you feel small enough to be eaten. This is the part that no one tells you about. It feels like loss before it feels like power, when growth is real. You miss the versions of yourself that helped you get through life, adaptations, emotional armor, and pain that you're used to. Even though you know they're out of date, letting go of them feels risky. That's why many people never change. They think that comfort means safety. You didn't, though. Think about this. As you leave the building where you've lived for years, you notice that the lights have turned off about halfway down the street. The switch wasn't turned on. You didn't say when you were leaving. You were no longer held by the structure. That's what's going on now. The world is still looking for you in places you don't live. This is where the shock gets stronger. This change isn't being caused by the new relationship in your life. It is showing it. It's like a spotlight shining on everything you outgrew but hadn't fully let go of. That's why it doesn't feel superficially romantic. I feel like it's necessary, honest, and surgical. It doesn't cut away comfort, but ideas. Some people who lose you won't understand why. It was never necessary to have a good understanding. People who thought less of you are beginning to feel uneasy. Even if they can't put their finger on it, it's harder to make eye contact. Talking seems to go faster. Not all jokes work the same way. The person they learned how to deal with no longer exists. That's why. The new one also doesn't ask for agreeance. Think about this. You changed the language you speak overnight from one that everyone around you understands. Same voice, same face, but a different tone. People who used to be able to guess how you would react now can't keep up. That mess up looks like distance. That far away looks like a threat. They will say that you are acting strange. People will say that you're different now that you've met someone. They will say that you are being influenced. No, you are being let out. This is where the old stories start to fall apart. The thought that you were too sensitive, intense, or complicated, and that you needed to be fixed. People who couldn't follow you where you were going used those labels to help them stay alive. Their excuses will go away when you lose your old self. This is the truth, and it hurts. A lot of people don't miss you. They long for the you that made them feel at ease. The person who gave more than they expected, waited, and took in the chaos without saying. They feel exposed when that version goes away, and being out in public makes cowards loud. People who got something out of your silence see growth as betrayal. Allow that to land. This is why you will be shocked by your next relationship. The world was ready for love. They were looking for attachment. They were ready for a distraction. So, what they got instead was change. You're not going to be swept away. You're more stable than ever. Everyone watching from the outside is startled by that difference. Think about this. a piece of chessboard. All of a sudden, you realize that the piece that everyone thought was a pawn was actually something else. It ends games and moves and thinks in new ways. That realization comes too late for the other team. That is the change in energy. At this point, you may be quietly asking yourself something. There is something good going on, so why does this feel lonely? Skin shedding is something that only one person does. There is always silence between who you were and who you're becoming. Transitions are hard for crowds to handle. Not even witnesses do. The irony is this: it gets easier to see things as your old self fades away. Stop sounding defensive with your standards. Your limits no longer need to be explained. Your gut should stop whispering and start talking in full sentences. You no longer need validation because you finally see that you are in line. You can grow without this relationship getting in the way. It calls for it. Your wounds aren't made to look pretty. It cares about your healing. You're not rushed. It comes at a good pace. That's why it seems different. Because of this, it feels heavy in a good way, like duty instead of fantasy. Not all endings are loud. Some quit their jobs. That's what your old self is going through. If you want the full guide with every prayer and lesson I've compiled for this community, check the description for the Daily Miracle Manual. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the Word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit Out Community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. It stopped doing its job. Think about this. One day, the shoes that fit you perfectly for years start to feel loose. They're still the same. You have, and it would hurt to force yourself back into them. That pain is telling you not to stay the same, but to change. People who thought less of you won't bother to ask questions. They are going to guess. It's easier than telling them they were wrong about you. You'll see the change, though. The way they look at you more than talk. They are scared of how calm you are. The way your absence sounds louder than when you were there. Here, revelation takes the place of love. You're not here to be loved. You're here to get in line. And alignment is very mean. It gets rid of things that don't fit without any drama, guilt, or explanation. This change seems sudden to people outside the group. They weren't interested in the work you were doing inside the company. I'll answer the question that's coming up right now. Is this going to last?
Yes.
I don't mean the relationship itself, but you. When you clearly see yourself, you can't take that sight away. You don't go back to connection without giving up yourself once you've had it. When your old self goes away, you don't try to rebuild it out of desire. That's the last surprise. They thought you would come back. They thought you would always be available. They were hoping for familiarity. Evolution is what they got. You are still the same person you were before. It got better. The world wasn't ready for what came out instead. The flame that they thought was out in number 4 just came back up. The fire didn't go out. You didn't feed the people who tried to use it. Let's kill one lie right away. Having this person in your life does not give you power. They're not going to save you. They're not making you whole. All of a sudden, everyone realizes that you've always had that strength. You kept it. You kept it secret because the world would punish you if you showed it too soon, too honestly, or too raw. The fire didn't go out. It went down below. Think about this. People in a city think that a volcano is not active because it is quiet. There wasn't any smoke, noise, or sign. They forget that being quiet does not mean being absent. In the dark, pressure builds up. The heat builds up. It doesn't ask for permission to kunk when it does. That's what's going on inside you. Right now, this link doesn't light the fire. It helps you remember where you buried it. It only takes one look, one word, or one moment to realize that you don't need to explain yourself anymore. You're not bringing up how much you're worth. You're not changing your mind to make peace. That's when it happens. There was always a fire. No longer did you waste it on people who couldn't stand the heat. Your choices start to change. Not dramatically, but definitely. You don't hesitate like you did before. You don't sit on your yes is good, your no means it. Because you're not trying to be liked, your voice is louder. It's telling the truth. This is what the enemy can't handle. You need to stop putting up with the bare minimum without saying anything about it. You just leave sure, calm, and unbothered. People who relied on your patience to stay helpful are scared now. Think about this. You've always been whispering in places that want you to be quiet. Now you talk normally, but now everyone thinks you're too loud. Your voice isn't louder. The space around us shrunk. You might be wondering why this feels risky. Since it is. To old relationships, weak bonds, and anyone who benefited from your doubts about yourself, fire and ice don't talk to each other. It makes it melt. This is why everyone is shocked by your next crush. They thought you would dim again. When you show up, you're calm, alert, not angry or defensive, and you're done pretending. You don't have to beg anyone to stay warm once the fire comes back. Either they move back or they burn when they try to touch something they never respected. Fifth, the old copy of you that they can't read anymore. You didn't change. You stopped translating for people who don't want to listen. This is where it becomes clear. Not to you first, but to everyone else. You go down the same streets. The voice you use is the same. But there is something wrong that makes people feel bad. They can't put it down. That is what scares them. You didn't get lost. You finally got there. This person is not going to save you. That needs to be made clear. They didn't do anything to help you. They did nothing but wait for you to see what you had already become. You can't change your face in a mirror. Which one were you trying to avoid? It shows you. Once you see that reflection, you can't go back to pretending. Think about this. In order to keep other people from feeling exposed, you've been living your life with a dimmer switch on. Every once in a while, you make things normal again. Everyone looks closer now. Some people cover their eyes. Take a step back. Don't worry about that. That's how you adjust. Your hidden strength starts to show in the way you move. You take your time. You don't explain too much. You don't try to get reactions. No longer is confidence something you do. It's something other people can feel. The dreams you put off aren't so far away anymore. They feel like they're late, which changes how you stand, speak, and wait. Of course, people do notice. Some people take a moment to think about who you are to them right now. Some people get scared when they realize they can't change the version of you they could change. Some people are scared of you not because you're mean, but because you're strong. They felt at ease when things were predictable. Clarity makes them tense. They are now being hit with the truth. They can't see this version unless you let them, which most of them won't. You might be wondering why I feel alone, even though I'm stronger. Because evolution doesn't go with other things. You don't need praise for the new you. It needs to be lined up. That's why everyone is shocked by your next relationship. They were hoping for a repeat. They had an epiphany. You didn't become hard to spot just because you changed masks. When you finally took it off, no one could tell who you were. 6. The sight that makes them blink first. Clarity is bad for people who did well when you were confused. During this phase, everything gets clearer, not too emotional or too chaotic, but clean, focused, and exact. You no longer fight the insecurities that used to be background noise in your mind. They just stop being useful. In a dramatic moment, doubt doesn't go away. It goes hungry when it's not fed. Noise doesn't break up your old patterns. They break quietly, like glass does when it's pushed. You look around and notice that the room is now more clear. Space, not a mess or a fight. Something rare takes place in that space. You no longer have to say sorry for what you want. Think about this. You've been driving through fog for years, guessing where the road is and relying more on your gut than your eyesight. After that, the fog goes away. Same road, same speed, but a totally different way to drive. That makes sense. And once you've been through it, you'll never look forward to confusion again. When there are red flags, you stop negotiating. You need to stop saying why your standards. You should not confuse chemistry with compatibility. It becomes clear what you deserve. What you won't stand for ends up being final. There is no longer any debate within the group. That courtroom inside shuts down. This version of you is magnetic, not because you want to pull things to you, but because you want to pull things to energy. Attention comes after certainty. Focus leads to possibility. A lot of people feel it before they understand it. The enemy does feel it too. They see that you don't search for comfort. You don't check the heat. You don't need to be told to take up space. People who relied on your hesitation to stay relevant are upset by that. They can't control something they can't lose control of. You might wonder why this doesn't feel exciting or thrilling. Since chaos has never been love, it was uncertainty that looked like intensity. Clarity that feels real is, in a quiet way, dangerous. This is why everyone is shocked by your next crush. It doesn't catch you. You pick it. People can tell something bad had happened when they see how unmoved you are and how little you explain, not by adding something, but by being yourself. By getting rid of doubt, you became magnetic, and once things become clear, the old world has nothing left to hold on to. 7th, the moment you stop running away from yourself. It's not with them that the scariest confrontation is. It's the truth that you failed to tell. After this point, it's no longer about connecting and is instead hard to avoid. There are no fights in this relationship. It doesn't blame you. It doesn't ask for explanations. There is nothing else it does but put you in front of yourself and not blink. There's a reason why that's scary. Every interaction takes something away, and it's never done gently. A fear you hid because it made other people feel bad. A dream you put off because people told you to be realistic. You played down a strength because it made weaker people feel threatened. It's no longer hidden at all. It's not because this person wants it, but because being around him makes pretending hard. Think about this. You've had this locked door in your house for years and told yourself it wasn't important. You find out one day that it wasn't locked. You were scared of what was inside. That's this stage. When the door opens, there's no monster inside, just power that you didn't. You might wonder why this feels so intense when nothing bad is happening. Because being free doesn't feel safe at first. It makes me feel unstable. Your old identity was based on avoiding things. There can't be any excuses when you're present, and growth requires it. People around you will notice this before you even speak. You must stop deflecting. Stop making shot. Don't act like you don't care. Not because you're mad, but because you're telling the truth. Being honest hurts more than any argument ever could. A lot of people are scared of being seen. You were scared to look at yourself. You can't take it back now. This relationship doesn't become the big story about how you've changed. The way you stand taller. How your choices stop being shaky. The way your silence sounds like it was planned instead of random. People can feel the change, but don't know what to do about it. Because there is nothing to hide once you look yourself in the eyes. And there's nothing worse than someone who knows who they are. 8th, when they realize you're not the same species anymore. They didn't see you get bigger. They saw you get there. This is where you can see the shift. And you can't hide it anymore. That's not what you say. You don't explain it. You just move differently. There is now a plan behind your steps. Being present in your silence and aware of the choices you make. What used to feel like wildfire has become clear, and what used to be clear fire has become power that doesn't need to prove itself. You enter rooms without first scanning them. You don't stretch the truth when you talk. You make a choice without asking anyone who might be upset. That's not being cocky. That's how you align, and people feel it right away. Think about this. For years, you've been looking at someone through fog and are sure you know what shape they are. When the fog clears, you see that you were wrong about the size, strength, and direction. Everyone around you is going through that moment of recalibrating right now. You finally get what was bothering you. It was never too much of you, too loud, or too quiet. It was just that you were standing in the wrong place. And the right eyes don't move when they finally meet yours. They don't try to take you over. They don't try to help you. They put you to the test. They forced you to be your strongest self and wouldn't let you shrink back. All along, comfort was the enemy. Comfort made you easy to deal with. You kept explaining out of comfort. A sense of comfort taught people how little work they needed to do for you. That lie falls apart because of this relationship. The old one comes off layer by layer. Not violently, but surely. Habits break down. Fear starts to let go. You can't make growth happen. You change. Evolution doesn't ask for permission. The people who thought less of you are the ones who feel it the most. First, there was confusion, then fear, and finally silence. Their trust in you was based on an old version of you. They are now facing someone they can't put into a category: control Or, guess what will happen? Fight them, but you didn't get free. You got away because you were too big for the room. Because of that change, they can't go back. 9, you're the first to feel the shock. And that's what kills them. Who you stood next to was never the real surprise. It was them who stood up inside you. The truth that most people get wrong. No one else knows about the shock that everyone is talking about. It's not public. In the middle of a quiet moment on a normal day, you catch sight of your set of feel-sun click into place. Not excitement, but understanding. You're so lost that you hardly recognize yourself. Now that you're clear, you barely recognize yourself. This relationship isn't going to save you. It doesn't pull you out of the dark. It doesn't just give you confidence. It does something much worse. It wakes you up. You can't lie about what you saw once you're awake. Think about this. Living in a house with dim lights for years has helped you remember how things fit together. The lights come on one day. The walls of the house are the same, but the control is very different. That's the shock, not the change. Being aware, you understand that you were never lost, broken, or missing anything. You were just sleeping, waiting, and saving your energy for when it mattered the most. This person didn't help you start the fire. The match was struck against something that was already full of fuel. The fire doesn't start in the middle and then spread outward. You can feel it burning through you. Old doubts burn away. Old fears are no longer true. You can't believe old stories about who you are anymore. You're not destroyed by the fire. It makes you clean. It might make you wonder why this feels both strong and calm at the same time. Because being confused leads to panic. This is true. You're no longer scrambling. You are picking. This is what kills the enemy. They thought your shock would look like a mess. Instead, it looks like peace, control, and someone who knows who they are and doesn't need approval to exist. This really shocks me. What you do in the end, not what everyone sees. And when that fire is done, there is nothing left in you that can be controlled, owned, or turned down again. Number 10 is the exit they didn't think you'd find. You didn't get here. This is where you made your wait end. Allow us to be clear. For me, this link was never the end. People stay weak because they don't understand that. It wasn't meant to make you whole, keep you in place, or decide your future. It was a way in. Also, doors don't ask you to stay. You are being asked to walk through. A life that most people never touch is on the other side. Power that is quiet, clear, and decisions that are made without apologizing. Stop making yourself smaller to make rooms more comfortable. You must stop putting what is comfortable ahead of what is right. You no longer need permission to be busy in your own life. Think about this. You've been standing in a hallway for years, decorating it and getting used to it as if it were the room. You finally understand that it was never meant to be lived in. It was meant to be gone through. That realization alone will change the way you move from now on. Here's the part that makes people scared. Your change doesn't depend on whether or not this person stays. That's the real change in power. You're not holding on. You're not making a deal. You're not scared of losing. The thing that woke you up is yours. And things don't go back to sleep once they've been claimed. You start to choose yourself fully, not just for yourself. You don't give up on connection, but you also don't give up everything for it either. You're already certain, so you don't need to look for more. That's when things start to change in life. People will think you got cold. You didn't. You decided to do something. You started being key. If someone relied on your doubt, you became dangerous. This is the question you may be thinking. What if this door shuts? It's not going to happen. These kinds of doors don't close. The threshold stays with you after you cross it. It was never about them. It was about getting in. There is no way to go back to your old life now that you've crossed that line. Number 11, seen the climb that makes them speechless. They're not surprised that you changed. It shocks them that you didn't ask them first. Now is the time to stop bracing and start moving. Just breathe, stand up straight, and point in the right direction. If you rise, don't say anything. And still, everyone feels it. The shock is not something you do. People who are still stuck in old versions of you go through it. Allow them to talk. Let them whisper. Let them think back on memories and try to figure out when they stopped being in charge of the story. Their doubt isn't confusion. That's proof. Something that shows you changed from the version of yourself they learned. Think about this. You've been walking uphill for so long that it makes you feel bad to stand up straight. You can breathe easier and see farther now that you're on level ground. The people who are still climbing think you lied. You didn't. When it got quiet, you kept going. This rise doesn't seem very big. A steady, calm, and dangerous look is enough to make it scary. You no longer explain your choices. You don't change the truth. You don't slow down to include other people. That's not being mean. That makes sense. They're not ready for this truth. You don't need to be proven right to move on. It's clear that you're on the same page without any praise. It's up to you to decide what comes next. And being independent scares people who depended on your self-doubt to make you feel strong. You could already feel it in your body. The sense of being grounded, not being scared, and knowing that you can handle whatever comes next. That's readiness, not confidence that someone gave you. Built-up confidence. If hearing this made you feel something change, write it down. Tell us what hit you. Say what kind of person you're becoming. Not to get permission, but to own something. Now that it's not asking to be heard, your voice does matter here. It says, presence. The new you that's coming forward isn't ready for the world yet. That's okay. You're not going to slow down for anyone this time. This part of the ending is clean, strong, and inevitable, and it doesn't drag on or soften the ending. The message is sealed, the journey is honored, and the chosen one stands tall while the enemy fades out of view. 13. The last quiet moment after the shock, and when all the noise stops, there's only the truth left. This is the end. Not with noise, not with words, and not with silence. The kind of silence that comes after something that can't be fixed. The kind that ends when everyone knows there's nothing more to say, question, or undo. You no longer try to get reactions. You don't wait to be cleared up. The world doesn't need to catch up with you. The shock has already taken place. The shift was already set. The next part doesn't need anyone to hear it. This relationship didn't make a big deal out of itself, because it didn't have to. It wasn't meant to impress anyone who was watching. It fit with who you were when no one was cheering. Now it doesn't matter if people agree or disagree. Their opinions stopped being useful as soon as you no longer needed them. Think about this. The land doesn't rush to explain itself after the storm is over. Commentary doesn't change it, it just stands there, stronger and clearer. That's you now. Some people will talk about the old you over and over again. Let them. They're talking from memory, not from experience. Others will be quiet because they finally get it that they were wrong about you. That silence doesn't feel weird. It's polite, even if they don't want to admit it. This is the last truth. No one else has to understand your life. Your growth doesn't need anyone to see it. Your next chapter is fine as it is. The universe has already answered. That's all the proof that was needed. You lost when you showed they were wrong. Moving on without them was a win for you. So slowly shut the door. Take a calm step forward and let the silence behind you say more than you could have. The shock did its job. You are now alive. Now wait a moment before you leave. If this made you feel something different, don't ignore it. That wasn't a hype. That was an honor. That kind of person only shows up when the truth hits the right spot. You didn't just happen to get this far or hear this message. If this made you feel something, click like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss what comes next. Put 777 in the comments to show that you understand. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.